Welcome everyone. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to sketch and paint a beautiful selection of pumpkins with autumn foliage using watercolours. It might look tricky at first glance, but I'll guide you through each step and you'll be surprised at how easy it actually is. Here are a list of the materials that will be needed: a pencil, regular printer paper, watercolour paper, paintbrushes, and an orange, yellow, green, brown, black and red watercolour. You can also use a lightbox if you have one. If you're not sure what a lightbox is, you will see this later in the tutorial, and also a white gouache for highlights. Okay, so let's begin with our sketch. Start with a large circle in the centre. This will be our main pumpkin. Draw two smaller circles on either side of the main one. Add some fun stems. I'm giving the main pumpkin a curly intertwined stem. From the base of each stem to create the body of the pumpkin, we can draw oval curves just as I'm doing here. You can then do the same for each smaller pumpkin, drawing different shaped stems for fun. Add autumnal details like small flowers, leaves, pampas grass and other fun textures. You can be really creative here. I've decided on some different types of leaves to add a little interest. If you'd rather skip the drawing part, the exact sketch is actually available on my Patreon for a small fee, or you can also gain access to all of my sketches for colouring or practice. Now that the sketch is done, use a black pen to outline your sketch. This will help in becoming our guide for tracing. I'm going to be using a lightbox to trace onto watercolour paper. If you don't have one, that's absolutely fine. Just hold your paper up to a bright window and that would work too. Keep your sketch light on the watercolour paper so it doesn't show through too much on your final painting. You will notice here though my sketch looks quite dark. That's just to help you see everything clearly on the camera. Right. Let's start painting. I have my round brush in size 12 to paint the big pumpkin. I've decided to use my pastel watercolours to start with, but you can use the colour you have but watered down, as this will create a similar outcome. Then layer a more pigmented orange at the top and bottom while the first layer is still wet. Now grabbing my round brush in size 4, I'm going to use a pastel or watered down green for this pumpkin and to outline darker or pigmented green. For the last pumpkin, I'm going to use a light yellow for the base and then deepen it by mixing a touch of brown for the shadows. For the stems, we will use the brown to paint each one. Moving on to the foliage leaves, I'll use the brown and yellow mix for little leaves, and then for the bigger leaves, just the brown. Now that the base layer is dry, let's build up the shadows. For the orange pumpkin, use pigmented orange to outline each segment, and to add depth, let's add a darker orange, which can be your orange mixed with a bit of brown, along the bottom of the pumpkin. Use the yellow-brown mix to define the edges and soften lines with a wet brush, leaving highlighted areas unpainted. Lastly, mixing a bit of brown with the green, we can add a deeper outline for the green pumpkin, and again blending along the segments for a more natural look. Also adding some extra brown areas to some of the leaves for interest. I'm going to be using the green for the last bit of autumnal foliage, painting short lines close together around the stem resembling pampas grass. Now that the second layer of the pumpkins are dry, let's go in with some more orange. This time let's add some darker area to the top of the pumpkin and put a bit more colour across each segment. With that brown-orange mix, let's add some more to the bottom part, building up those layers and details. Do a similar thing on the green and yellow to add more colour to our pumpkins, focusing on keeping the outlined areas deeper in colour. Whilst we wait for those to dry for our final layer, let's paint our little flowers. I've chosen a red and orange mix to bring some warmth into our painting. Okay, our pumpkins are fully dry, so we can now add our final details. Grab your finest brush, mine is the size 0, to be able to get those intricate painted details. Starting with our stems, add outline and shading with brown to make them pop. For the spiral stalk, add a shadow under the curve. As the orange pumpkin is the most prominent, I want to make sure that the details are really strong. With your orange, have a high pigment on your brush and fully outline each segment. With your brush, wet the lines and build up that brightness across the outlines and base. See how the pumpkin is really showing so much more depth from the multiple watercolor layers that we have built. It really takes some patience, but the results are beautiful. Let's paint vertical lines on each pumpkin segment. Use darker shades in shadowed areas and lighter, more diluted colours in highlighted sections. Repeat the process until the whole pumpkin is finished. If you feel like you want to add more orange blended on any area of the segment, feel free to add that as you go along. It's all about practicing and seeing what feels right to you. Do the same for the green and then, of course, the yellow. Those lines look great. They have given the pumpkin so much texture. Paint leaf veins and edges with the fine brush. If you want to add the outlines to all the foliage, then go ahead. I personally love adding outlines to my paintings because it makes each section and each area stand out. Don't forget to add the yellow in the centre of the flowers. If pencil lines from the flowers show through, go over them with paint to tidy them up. Now onto our final steps. Mix a small amount of black with lots of water to create a grey shadow under each pumpkin and the foliage. Add a touch of stronger black directly under each to deepen the effect. Now this part is optional. Using the white gouache, add some final highlights and details for extra contrast and sparkle. Yay, we did it! How did yours turn out? Did you enjoy painting along today? Let me know in the comments. If you like this tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe. I have another autumn design on my page if you'd like to keep going. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy painting!